So, James, Enzo Maresca was sacked from Chelsea, and then ex-Hull City centre back comes in to be the manager of Chelsea after a bit of time. I think semi-successfully at Strasbourg, which is under that kind of blue co ownership. And actually, I think I could easily double check, but won like a couple of games, maybe four out of his first five or something like that. And I think people thought, let's give this guy a go. Like, I don't know if he has the coaching credentials that you'd expect for a team like Chelsea. If you reel off the Contes, Mourinho's, Tuchel's, you can go and go and go of the world. Liam Rosenior is somebody completely different. But four losses on the bounce. They haven't done that since 1993. Even I wasn't born at that point, you guys.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, crazy. Really old. What's the deal here? Is this a blip that we're going to move past, or was everybody right from the beginning, being like, "Why the hell are we giving this guy a shot?" This to me seems insane. My 2 cents very quickly would be, I think maybe he gets his way through the season, maybe because I don't know who the person would come in unless you're going to go really aggressive for an Iraola, Marco Silva, Glasner, one of these kinds of guys. Um, unless you feel that strongly about being in the Champions League. Failing that, I don't think it's possible for you to start next season with this guy as your manager. I don't know how you feel, but it just seems mad to me, the whole thing.
Jack, listen, it's an interesting one, because at the same time, I actually like Liam Rosenior. I think it's always good when you look at the managers, they like the way they come off. And he seems like a well-spoken manager. He seems to kind of understand like what he's doing, but at the same time, that all looks nice on paper, but it has to deliver. And you being in charge of a Chelsea to, I don't know, even to a Wolves is two completely different things. A one or two bad results for Chelsea, the whole like think about it, the whole wall falls down. You at Wolves, it's okay. And he's going through this thing where he has to learn very, very, very quickly that it's not just about how they play, it's also about the results. Like think about it, the results to that matter. But for Chelsea, to me, it's like, what are you doing and where are you going? And Jack, I'm not the guy to do it. I hate it. I really do hate bringing up the board. Yeah, because to me, it's like the board is the board, but the game is played on the pitch. Yeah, and right now with like right now with Chelsea, with everything that's gone on, it just seems that the board have complete egg on their faces, Jack. And it just seems it's going to be a cycle now. Lee Messina is going to speak out at some point. Yeah, and we know what's going to happen there. He's going to get sacked. They're going to get the next one, and then yeah, and then the next one, and then and then the next one until they give a manager complete control of what is going on. Yeah, on the football field, I just don't think that they're going to have success because I don't think Rossini even has enough time to be like, oh, I want to build my team. You can't really build this team right now. They've already built it. They've already built this team. They're putting players on mega huge long-term contracts. It's going to be almost impossible to like get away. Jack, look at what they did with Sterling. But I don't know. But I don't know. How do you feel about this whole situation, Jack?
I I think it's crazy. I mean, he does make me cringe a little bit. He has got that kind of whole cosplaying as a manager vibe going on. There's some stuff that I just think's really weird. And if that's who he is, then that's fine. Maybe some people find that kind of charming and kind of nice. But there's been a few things where I think he's got an attention. He's got an attention for kind of acting like a manager instead of just managing the team. You may feel differently about this, but they're down on aggregate 8-2, and he brings Garnacho on, and he's got notes written down. He's like, "Yeah, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to do this." Now, you might say, "Hey, this is top tier football. Garnacho is a young player. I want to still make sure that we're growing and that we're learning." It's 8-2. It's not 4-2, and if you get one, maybe you can get a second in extra time or whatever. It's 6 goals down. It's over. This isn't an opportunity for you to kind of, dip your oar in and be really strong and be the man. You're getting embarrassed. This is really, really poor. Um, I don't know how it shakes out. I think the only thing that will potentially give Chelsea fans hope at the moment is Liverpool don't want to play Champions League football next year. Aston Villa don't want to play Champions League football next year. The only team in this kind of mini Champions League race that actually wants to play Champions League football next year is Manchester United. So that leaves open a space, maybe two spaces. You know how complicated it gets with the Europa League winner being an English team, the Champions League winner being an English team, depending on where they finish. For example, if Aston Villa, I think, win the Europa League, which I think they've got a good shot at doing, but then finish fifth, I think sixth comes available. So all these teams might get in, even though at the moment they don't really deserve it. Bluco's got a lot to answer for. I think you would probably remember the story that came out about, oh, why did you sign Mark Cucurella? And Todd Bowley goes, well, Manchester City were interested in him. And I feel like if Manchester City are interested in the player, they must know what they're doing. So we'll just sign one of their targets. That's a crazy reason to sign a player. Now, the fact that it's actually gone okay and Cucurella is a pretty serviceable left back for a team like Chelsea, I think that's fine. But it's a very worrying reason to sign a player like that. So, James, like we do with most of our videos here, how does this all shake out? Do you think Rossini is going to make the season? Is he going to end the season? Because I'll add this into it as well. You've got the FA Cup coming up as the next club fixture for Chelsea. Obviously, there's an international break in there as well. The next two Premier League games are both Manchester clubs, and then you're going away to Brighton, who just beat Liverpool at home as well. What do you reckon? Chelsea, where are we at with this?
He does, Jack. I think he signed a 5-year deal or so. So I just don't like this whole chopping and changing stuff. And Chelsea obviously giving managers big contracts before, and obviously they having this one thing I love, the project. You can't have a project and have in like sack 4 managers in a space of how many years? You know, that's not a project. That's just you wanting to get results and realize, oh, this manager isn't getting like what we needed, but we're gonna forget about the project that we had with him, and then we're gonna focus on something else. I think the one thing I'm also gonna say with Chelsea, I think one of the biggest thing to me, and I like to keep it on the pitch, is the players, and the players that they bringing in to me not living up to expectations or not performing to the heights. You know, I'm just gonna name a few since they're coming in. To be fair, they've had good moments here or there. Liam Delap, has he ultimately taken Chelsea to the next level? You know, and again, look, I know injuries, all that sort of stuff there, just not happening. Guy Nacho coming
Yeah.
in and obviously with the price tags taking it from Manchester United. And Jack, I was a big fan of Guy Nacho. Is he that level, Jack? Can he take the game to the next level too? And
They keep they the problem is they keep signing, like I joke, I've got a couple of friends who are like really big Chelsea fans. They keep signing these like 7 out of 10 quality players. And then they're like, oh cool, 7 out of 10 Arsenal, right? You're an Arsenal
Mhm.
fan.
Yeah,
Noni Madueke is a 7 out of 10 player. That is pretty good. That's serviceable. He's likely an England international in the World Cup. That he's a good player. I don't think you think if he's starting for your team week in, week out, he's going to be the key player that wins you a league, but he's a perfectly good, serviceable player. I put Madueke in the exact same caliber as I would put Gittins, Garnacho. I think Pedro Neto is pretty good, but I'd say they're probably in the same kind of ballpark. When they sign a player, it doesn't raise the level. You're just signing the same caliber of player who's young for a similar fee, who may go on to do better, but you want to actually increase that because at the moment, the caliber of player they're signing is a Europa League, if it goes badly, Conference League kind of thing. Enzo wants to leave, right? Because he's seen the players that he's around and he thinks, "Jesus, this isn't really what I want." The only shining light I would say is probably João Pedro.
yeah, Jack.
Um, yeah,
I'm just gonna bring up some, and you're a Chelsea fan right now. I go, oh, don't bring it up, don't say it. But when Chelsea had Roman Abramovich, majority of seasons they made statement signings that made a difference to the squad long term.
right.
Not they didn't have a they had players who were projects here, there, but they usually had players who, to me, were like big enough. And granted, did they always work out? No. But at least Jack, they're making a statement. Fernando
Right.
Torres, Andrei Shevchenko, Michael Ballack, players that you know that are gonna come in right now and make Chelsea the title contenders.
Hazard.
They're like they're high. Hazard at the top. Hazard was a bit more of a project, but to be fair, every no, he wasn't a project. Everyone
Hazard
knew
was going to be it. Yeah,
how
yeah.
how good he is. I can't remember the last time Chelsea, even somebody like a Moises Caicedo. As good as Moises Caicedo is, Jack, I wasn't wowed by the signing. As good as
No,
Enzo
no.
was, I wasn't like, oh my days, this is taking Chelsea to the absolute next level. I thought they're good players who Chelsea just overpaid for. It wasn't that guy that made you go, oh wow. And that's to me the biggest problem with Chelsea. You
And
know?
look, I agree with you. I think there's this big conversation coming up at the moment. The whole model is right that you sign these young players, they improve, they get better, they get Premier League experience, you sell them for a profit. James, what league is it that has all the money to sign all these players? The Premier League. So what? You're going to sign a really good young player, have him develop, and then you're going to sell him to Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Liverpool. What? It doesn't work. The whole kind of way of approaching it doesn't work. My one thing to defend Chelsea, because obviously we've been bagging on them a lot here. And again, what's the best availability? If Fafana and Colwill start all season and build a partnership, I think we're having a very different conversation. And I'm not saying that Trevor Chalobah's not like a good player, or who else am I thinking of? Tosin, Adar Abayo, who came in from Fulham. These aren't good players. I think Colwell and Fafana, if they stay fit and can keep going, are really talented centre backs, and that could make a huge difference to the team. And they've been a little unlucky in that respect, but I don't think it's enough to move the needle an insane amount from what we're seeing at the moment.
No, Jack, listen, not for me. Not for me. I just look at Chelsea right now and everything just feels a bit half. Oh, are you gonna go for it or not go for it? Because this whole thing about being patient and you build in like build for the future. Football isn't for the future. People claim it is, but realistically, it's we're talking about modern day football, Jack. We're
Yeah,
talking about competitive football. Yeah. If football was like was for the future, teams would be more loyal to managers. Teams wouldn't want to sack a manager after 6 months being in charge. A team wouldn't want to sack a manager after winning the Club World Cup, winning the Europa Conference League. As much as I'm not crazy about that, you wouldn't do that. And I know Maresca divided opinion to a lot of Chelsea fans. Some guys, Chelsea fans love them, or the Chelsea fans be like, I couldn't wait to get him out of there because the way he's like his game management, substitutions, blah 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 blah. But overall, there is really no plan at Chelsea. There
no.
is no plan to be like we're ready in 4 or 5 years' time. No, it's like we're just blagging it right now. And listen, we're gonna throw a lot of you know what at the wall and see what sticks. You
See
know.
what sticks. Yeah, it's true. Well, so let me ask you. We usually finish these videos with a like, what would you do and what you think will happen. So first of all, I'll kind of, I guess, do mine. What do I think's going to happen? Yeah, I think Chelsea are probably going to find it really challenging against the two Manchester clubs and also against Brighton. And I think the pressure might become too much. Will and Iraola, Marco Silva, a Glasner, one of these kind of just below the kind of top level managers who are about to be out of contract, will they become available? Do you jump in early and do you try and get them and tie them in? Maybe get your way through to Blag in the Champions League. That would be my kind of guess what happened. Who would I choose? It really is quite challenging. I don't know if it's going to be Marco Silva. I'd say the person potentially with most upside is probably somebody like Glasner. There's all these rumors about Iraola. I think the Athletic Bilbao job is going to be coming up pretty soon, and obviously he played there like his whole career. So I think he's probably going to go back to Spain and take that. But that would be mine. What do you think should happen? What do you think will happen?
What will happen at Chelsea overall, Jack?
Yeah, with the manager situation.
I think he stays there. He stays
Do
there.
you reckon?
Uh,
Wow.
Jack,
Next
listen,
season, first game of next season, Rosenior's manager.
yes, Jack. To me, it's like if they don't if they don't give Rosina a chance, that means if you're somebody who's looking at the Chelsea job, Jack, that's a poison chalice. I'm even gonna say this right. You might think I'm crazy, Jack, by saying this, but the
Yeah,
way
go
it's
on.
going at Chelsea, I feel like that's a more toxic job than the Manchester United job, and that's saying something.
Yeah, you
Because
might be right.
because at the end of the day, Man United, there's loads of stuff going on there. But at least to a certain point, you feel like the manager has control. Yeah, this Chelsea, I'm hearing about the owners telling them players to play, substitutions, formations. Ah!
I know it's insane.
At least you let the manager have that one thing, you know?
But I also think we're at a point where the players aren't having him as well. Dude, 3-0 against Everton is not good. And it's
That's
not it's not Chelsea got another red card and all, it's this whole like they got convincingly beaten 3-0 at Everton. And Everton, look, Everton at home, I think it's been challenging with the new stadium. I
mhm.
think that's kind of the sense I get. But that's a convincing win. That's like a top team beating Wolves earlier in the season at home kind of win, not Chelsea. That's crazy. Anyway, we've been talking way too long on this. Guys at home, please let us know your thoughts. Chelsea fans, let us know your thoughts. Pop those questions down in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Me and James will see you next time.